do-it-yourself wood box. Now, this is a simple, easy project that anybody can do. I originally intended to do it with pallet wood, but that pallet wood was caught in a Utah storm and was soaking wet. So I went to Lowe's. I bought the cheapest wood I could find, which happened to be 3/4 by 3.5 inch, I don't know, panel wood or whatever. And I started by cutting everything to length. Now, you can pretty much just sketch one of these out, but if you guys want the cut list, I'll have it in the description. The idea of this project was to build a box in less than an hour and have it be functional. So I was kind of testing a theory. The more accurate you make your cuts, the easier this project will be. I kind of skimped in a few areas, but again, it was supposed to look more like pallet wood, not necessarily production wood. I got this Roybe nail gun for Christmas because I was a very good boy. And I got to tell you, I am really, really pleased with it. It is available in my links to my store, as is every tool that I use. And if you want to go pick one up, do me a favor and go ahead and check it out in there. It helps me out. All right, so after assembling the panels, which was literally just nailed together, I would totally recommend using a little bit of glue. The biggest thing is that you leave enough. And in this case, I wanted a 3/4 inch overhang on each side so that when you put the panels together, they match perfectly. So you'd want to measure that for whatever wood you're using. For me, it was 3/4 inch over the panels on each side. Now again, this was just more of a test build for me. I see these at wood shows and they seem to sell really well. I would recommend using wood glue on every seam. That would give it a lot of strength. That said, the nail gun, once it was all squared up and nailed together, it was plenty strong. So then I eyeball squared it together and just finished nailing it all together, which didn't take very long at all. And I may have gone a little bit overboard with nails, but I wanted to make sure that it was good and strong. And I was testing this Roybe nail gun out, and I was really enjoying it. So that was pretty fun. So I continued to cut pieces for the lid, and I basically just eyeballed it together. But I didn't get too crazy trying to make sure that they were absolutely super precision. And you don't have to if you're going for this kind of pallet wood look. It took me a second to figure out what kind of arrangement I really wanted on the lid. I found some wood with some good character in it, and then I just kind of pieced it together to what I thought looked decent. I knew I was going to be using hinges and a handle, so I needed a reinforced front and back. Then I just nailed it all together. Now again, in the future, when I build more of these, I'm going to use wood glue. This was a prototype, and I was concerned I'd be taking it back apart, so I really didn't put any wood glue in. Again, I cannot tell you how much I enjoyed this nail gun. It really sped things up. In the past, I've built pretty much everything with the old traditional hammer and nail, and this is a game changer if you don't have one. Now, unfortunately, I missed one of the first parts of staining this box, but it's really not that hard. I just used wipe-on Danish oil, and it gave it the rough look. And then I cut a piece of panel for the bottom. Just really thin 5mm wood, and you could do this better. I considered putting pallet wood in the bottom, but it was still soaking wet, and this was just kind of a quick solution to make sure that stuff didn't fall out the bottom. No one was going to see the bottom anyway, so I wasn't too concerned. I ended up staining it, and you can't even tell from looking at it from the top. So After that, I put these anti-skid pads on, and you just nail them in, and that helps not, scratch your linoleum floor, your tile floor. And they're really easy. You just kind of hammer them in place. So here is the third coat of Danish oil, and I actually would recommend staining these pieces before you put it together. Here I'm messing with the hinges. This took a minute. I'm not the best hinge guy. I'm still kind of figuring that game out, but it didn't take too long. I kind of eyeballed them in place, left myself some little marks, and penciled it together. If you look in the box, you can see the difference between the non-Danish oil and Danish oil wood. I ended up staining that later, but it wasn't important for the video, so you can see my sloppy stain job right there. Once I was happy with the hinge and the way it was working, it was time to add a small handle, and I just bought a really cheap drawer knob and drilled a hole. I live next to a fire department, and I can tell you that their siren must be one of the loudest ones I've ever heard. So sorry about that. They're doing their job, and occasionally I get subjected to loud sirens. So I was pretty happy with the lid, and I was happy with the box altogether. It worked out pretty good. Took less than an hour and really wasn't that expensive. Would have been even cheaper if I used pallet wood. Appreciate you watching. Please give us a like, and please subscribe. We'll be doing more videos in the future. Thanks a lot.